was thinking about conversations with my brother, and we have some fascinating conversations. Of course, that's fascinating to us because they're normally around our memories of growing up with motorbikes, and in particular growing up with motorbikes with a father who was also into motorbikes as well. And we were thinking about the Tiger Cub, and you know, whilst we have certain memories, we don't remember how some of the things occurred. Now that sounds a bit gobbledygook, so I'll try and explain. We were thinking, for example, about a Triumph Tiger Cub that we built. It was bought in boxes and in bits and what have you. And at that time we didn't have anywhere to actually build it. You know, we had no garage. Our bikes, and in fact my brother remembers his when he had his XS 750 and sidecar, he couldn't even get it off the road, so it used to be parked outside on the road. But anyway, so we got this Tiger Cub and decided to build it in the bedroom. You know, we're nice and sensible to start with. We started with the engine. You know, that's nice and easy, into the bedroom, lifting all the parts in. My brother got a kitchen sink, pinched the kitchen, not the kitchen sink, the kitchen bowl out of the sink, and we sat the engine in that as we built it, and stripped it down, and we hid the exhaust in the immersion heater cupboard. A lot of people won't remember what an immersion heater was, but basically a hot water boiler that you used to have upstairs in a cupboard, normally a tall cupboard, and you could hang things underneath and stuff, and we hung the exhaust system. And gradually, bit by bit, these bits of bikes came upstairs and everything was done, painted, stripped down, everything was done bit by bit. And we can't remember at what point we thought it was actually a good idea to take the frame upstairs, or even at that stage to take the wheels upstairs and actually put the wheels upstairs. But we could remember, I remember as clear as day, like watching a video in my head of us taking it downstairs. What a job that was. There was 3 of us, me, my brother and a mate. But looking back, it's absolutely hilarious and slightly bonkers. The Bantam, I can't remember, because this led to us thinking about how we rebuilt the Bantam, and I think we did that outside under a bit of plastic. But yeah, great times. And I don't know whether you'd be able to do it. Well, you won't be able to do it with modern bikes now. You'd only ever be able to do it with those old British bikes, because of the design, which is, you know, a little bit like the Royal Enfield Classic 500 and the older Royal Enfields. They were built like that. I'm not sure any of the other modern retros are. I think it'd be a little bit more difficult. I'm not sure. I certainly wouldn't want to start stripping Betty down but I don't know. I might have a go at Wendy here. That might, it looks like a more straightforward type of engine. But yeah, those, you know, modifying frames and things was much easier with the older bikes. But of course you had to be pretty hands-on with those, because they weren't perhaps quite as reliable as they ought to have been. But the saving grace was the fact that you could actually repair them. I mentioned in another video about following my mates around when we had the Japanese bikes, following the mates around who had British bikes with we followed them around with a toolkit. But the fact is, you could actually repair them. You could repair them at the side of the road, and that made my brother remember on the Tiger Cub. So this is how it came about, full circle, was that with the Tiger Cub he used to carry around pieces of wood because his clutch plates were knackered, and he would very often have to stop at the side of the road and rebuild the clutch. No doubt he could have fixed it permanently if he'd been able to get hold of the parts, but getting hold of the parts, I mean, you know, we weren't talking about the internet, we were talking about Exchange and Mart or something like that. Finding bits wasn't quite as easy as it is now, getting on eBay, or even just googling them. There was no forums, and of course that makes it all much more easier now. But yeah, all that from thinking about why the hell we built a Triumph Tiger Cub in our bedroom. Just one of the antics we got to my brother once, I was having a fight with him, and he locked me out the house, and before he locked me out the house he threw a baffle at me. I can't remember what the baffle was out of, probably a CD 175. He threw a baffle at me, and then, having locked me out of the house as I was totally enraged, he's hanging out the window shouting, "What's wrong, our kid? Are you baffled?" Ooh, I was absolutely livid. If I could have got in that house then, there'd have been hell to pay. Of course, you settled down in the end. But of course, one of the other things we remembered thinking about the Bantam was making gaskets, and we used to use hematite and cereal boxes. So we'd make them out of cardboard from the cereal boxes. But the weird thing was, we'd put the cereal box back in the cupboard just with the shape of the gasket that we'd cut out of it. Yeah, amazing really. But it was all good fun. It was all very much good fun. And I don't know if kids still get up to that. I mean, now it's all cars, isn't it? You see a lot of kids with old cars stripping them down. Well, my dad bought me an old car to rebuild, and it was an old Zephyr, and it was a marvellous thing. The only trouble was I couldn't get a solenoid for it. I used to have to put a spanner across the solenoid to start it. But it was all good education. All jolly good education. Yeah. God, I feel so old hacking on about the old days. You know, the young kids today, they get a lot of bad press. but I'm sure we were just as bad. I also remember me and my mate, when we were doing the outfit racing, we'd make some modifications and we'd test it up and down the roads, the local roads. Yeah, going up and down there with a Suzuki kettle engine in this outfit, racing exhaust on it, going like Billy-O up and down these terraced houses. We did get some looks, but there you go. Yep, this car's going. Don't you go. Yeah, so we've moved on a long way from there. No, I can't even get all my tools together enough to do a service on the Bertie. That's a slight exaggeration. It's only I've got the wrong socket set. I need to collect that. So yeah, a little natter. Might post this, might not. Can't wait to get on the new 350 Classic. Hopefully that'll be out before the end of the week. If you've got any memories of your own, I'd love to hear about it. If you don't want to put it in the comments, you can always email me. The email's on the home page of the channel. I get quite a few emails from people asking various things. Look forward to hearing from you.